Hey guys, this was a tough one to make because I this is one of those things that I don't really like about the music industry. It's one of those things where there's a lot of lies involved about the music industry, a lot of just total bullshit because they act like they're not making any money. It's their number one thing. They want to act like they're not making any money. It's they want to be like the latest adopters of new technology. Like you're finally okay with streaming. Like finally, after it's like 50% of your income now. Now you're okay with it. It's unbelievable. They don't get on the horse. People are downloading. No, buy this old media, this thing that is going to get scratched up and you won't be able to use anymore. Oh, and if you burn it and you share it with somebody, that's the end of the world and you should go to jail for 35 years. You guys are so ridiculous. Now they're late adopters to hey, we could go ahead and make some money through streaming because they're scared. Because they're really afraid. They have plenty of money now, and the truth is they're trying to protect it because there's a lot of money going on in the recording industry. A lot of money's getting taken in, and they're trying to protect their money. Because what can happen, and I predict that this really might happen. There's a pretty good chance of it. Streaming services. If you have a big enough streaming service, why don't you just be the label of the artists that you work with? Be the label of the stuff that you put out there. It worked for Netflix, right? It worked for Netflix, so fine. They're unwilling to do anything. They took in $15.7 billion in 2016, and they claim to have invested $4.5 billion in A&R and marketing, and that's bullshit too. I looked into that. It's nonsense. Let me just show you why it's nonsense. False numbers. There we go. False numbers. Okay, so 4.5 billion, that'd be 26% of the revenue. Sounds like a lot, right? Wow, they're investing quite a bit in developing new talent. They're exploring a lot more than we thought they were. They are not just exploiting the stuff that's going well. Wow, good for them. No, bullshit, lies. Let's see the proof that it's lies. Remember the term invested in A&R and marketing, artist and repertoire and marketing. Okay, not just invested. Invested in actual marketing here. So they say that the advance is an investment in marketing. Recording is an investment in marketing. Video production is an investment in marketing. Tour support, investment in marketing. I'll buy those two. Video production, tour support is going to sell your product, your record. Then again, you are monetizing your videos, so you're kind of making money there too, aren't you? And then marketing and promotion is its own category. Marketing and promotion, it's like they admit that they're complete liars at the end of it on the bottom here, which is funny. I mean, it's pretty funny, but recording being part of A&R and marketing, how is making the product part of marketing? That doesn't make any sense. I mean, if I made cars and I was like, oh, my marketing budget is an engine and it's paint, and that doesn't make any sense, dude. It's dumb. I mean, you're just playing with numbers and screwing people over because they believe you because they don't look into it. And you have guys like, I'm sorry, Ian, I have to tear you apart here a little bit because I did not like your video, man. Ian did a TED talk, and Ian, if you watch this, man, I actually really do like you as an artist. Like the work that you do is fantastic. I looked into it just to see if I didn't like that either, and I'll give it to you, man. You do good work. I don't think you're like a record company shill or anything like that. I don't think you're doing things in order to misinform people. I think that you're misinformed. You didn't look into it, or maybe you just have grand ideas as to how you'd like things. Which are all fine. That's fine. I mean, you're allowed to have your own views on things. But he was giving a talk about artist development. That was one of the main focuses, and I thought, I'm gonna wanna. I do artist development as my job, so I'm going to want to kind of take a listen to this. So here we go. Let's put Ian Kagey, artist development. Here's what he has to say about it. Remember how much money record companies are making. I just showed you and proved to you how much they're investing, how much they're making. Let's take a look.
But labels simply cannot take this risk anymore. They can't take the financial risk.
They can't take the financial risk of developing the artist, of doing the actual development of your product, your actual R&D. You just want to have your like marketing, A&R and marketing, and put everything into that budget. There's different things going on. Research and development is different. And they probably count A&R guys and all the work that they do in A&R in both of these, marketing and in their research and development, because they're liars. I mean, they only have like one. The big interest that they have is when they seem like they're dying, when they make everyone believe that everything's going bad and the music industry is going to die, and people get worried about their culture like that, what's happening there. They might get some laws changed. They're still like obsessed with people downloading their stuff for free and pirating. Like, sorry, man. I mean, it happens, but we kind of addressed the market addressed it with what's going on with streaming, because streaming is, I mean, it's better than pirating. It's better just to pay some money and every month you listen to whatever you want. It works out pretty well, and it was a good solution to the problem. Like I said, 50% of what record companies make comes from streaming now. So, things will change and things will keep changing, but that's not I'm not going to buy it that, they don't have the money to do artist development. It's impossible. Let's come up with new ideas, because you already, it's a false argument, man. It's a whole fallacious garbage argument. We just saw that they do have the money. They just won't do it. And you know why? There's a reason they won't do it. A lot of people are doing it themselves. That's a good thing. That's a really good thing, that people are going, I'm not going to wait for someone to give me the money to do this. I'm going to go after my own career and try to make something of myself. I want to be a musician. I'm going to go ahead and tackle that. And for some reason, you feel like that's like a bad thing. That doesn't make sense. I mean, that's a great thing. It's a great thing. We want more of that in the industry, less of big high-ups picking out what we're allowed to hear, throwing it on the radio, doing these I don't want to accuse them of this because it's more of my own like little conspiracy theory, but it's like a whole like payola scam. It's like they'll go and it'll be a bunch of Sony artists in a row on like a top 40 station, and then you realize like they're selling like other Sony products during the commercials. They're like, oh, the Sony movies is putting this out, Sony Pictures. Like, oh, so you're paying them to play your music, and other people can't do that. Wow, that sounds like something people go to jail for. No, that's okay, because you're a big company and you're down on your luck and everyone thinks you're failing anyway. It's all garbage, man. You're making all this bullshit up, and you take advantage of the people who are working hard and doing things for themselves. And one of my biggest pet peeves is another thing that Ian actually talked about. Ian mentioned, actually I have it queued up. Ian mentioned that basically, when you go to school for this, you pay quite a premium to learn this. And a lot of people are willing to do it because people are willing to take risks. Normal people are willing to take risks. They're willing to check out new things and try new opportunities out. It's the record labels that are unwilling to do that. That's what's going on. So these kids are getting screwed. They're paying a ton of money to learn something that they can learn on their own, and they could get an internship. You could take like an unpaid internship somewhere. If it's hard to get, work on doing some records, then go back to that studio and say, I've done some records, I'm making money, I have artists coming in, I want to work out of here, but I want to shadow you, I want to learn from you. And after a while, these guys are going to take you. If you have it in you, they're going to work with you. What I worry about is these kids coming out of school after they do all of this, saddled with debt. You can't work for free. It's impossible. You have too much debt you have to pay off. You can't take an internship. You can't learn more stuff. You have to hope to God that these guys actually taught you enough to succeed. I mean, spoiler alert, they probably have not. And they're probably not going to place you with a good internship. They're going to place you with some crap internship that teaches you nothing and will not result in a job. And you've paid them thousands of dollars a year, and you're going to be paying them for the next 30, 40 years of your life. But this is a TED Talk at a TEDx talk. I don't know. What do you need to do a TEDx talk? I have no clue. But it's a TED Talk at a college at Berkeley. So you'd imagine that what he's saying is in support of Berkeley, and it kind of is. Take a listen.
More students are paying a premium cost and going into debt to be educated in the professional recording arts. The desire to be a music maker seems to be at an all-time high, and we are sending record numbers of graduates into the field. So if the number of people looking for jobs in recording studios is increasing, but the number of studios that exist to provide those jobs is decreasing, how do we make that sustainable?
We don't, Ian. That's why things are changing. It's not sustainable. You don't have to save all failing systems. You can let them evolve. Things are changing now. People are making records for a little bit cheaper, especially people who are on the indie circuit doing things themselves. That's okay. You know why that's okay? Because that's the only way these damn Berkeley kids are to get a job. I mean, you're hoping maybe like 1% of them goes to these giant studios in New York City, and it's not going to work, man. It's like, what do you do when you want to do a TED Talk? Like, oh, I have some bad ideas. I'll call up the TEDx and I'll put on a talk. I mean, what are the qualifications? Is it like a big nose and a bad haircut? I have both of those things. How about I go say a whole bunch of bullshit to just random people? I don't know what's going on. I don't know what's going through people's heads, but this is not the way to fix it. It's just not the way to fix it. We need the industry to keep growing and keep growing outward and stop having this big pyramid of just major labels. And we need these streaming services to start doing the Netflix model, making their own artists. Well, not making them, the artists will make the music, but giving them the opportunity. Netflix doesn't make the music, make their television shows. They do the same thing that regular TV does. They hire people to go ahead and film these shows. They have the writers, everything. They make entertainment. There's no reason that streaming services can't do it too, and really, really start pushing the industry to spread and get more artists. And say, you're going to pick up music. Music has been in a decline long enough, and it's actually starting to increase again. I mean, it was declining for like 15 years. It lost like 25% of its revenue. I mean, it sounds terrible, but they're still making a ton of money. So they're not going to change. Soon they'll change. It'll happen soon. But not Ian's way. Ian has this whole thing. Like, he just wants to sell you this ridiculous bill of goods that there's going to be people who donate, and it would be small donors and big donors and so on. There already are people who do like monthly contributions to streaming. It already exists. And they want to. They don't have to be forced into it. They don't need like a whole department on putting together parties so that these people can come together and you can ask donations from the big elites, and they can decide what we get in our culture now too. I mean, it's a bad enough problem that the major labels decide what we get to listen to on the radio. Now you just want like whoever has the most resources can fund whatever project they want, and that's all we'll hear because this is the new system. Ugh. I don't want to watch this next part. I watched it and I like turned red last time. I think this time I keep it kind of chill. Let's watch the next part where he explains how he's going to fix everything, and he's just not.
We could have a membership base. Those members would pay a yearly, monthly
streaming
fee, and they would get services that the organization provide. Anything from exclusive content to concert tickets. On top of that, we would have to appeal to our audience for large-scale donations, appeal to philanthropic people in the industry, and beyond that, appeal to everybody that felt the cause of creating good music was an important one.
Yeah, the cause of creating good music, that's an important cause. Everybody, if it was really that important to people, they would never have stolen it. I mean, they want the music. They know the people who are making it are making money. You're not tricking like regular people. It's weird how they seem to be tricking bands. Like artists seem to be really tricked by this. Oh no, the record industry is like, it's failing. It's a big train wreck. Regular people are all going, no, they have plenty of money. And they're right. These big giant artists are making ridiculous money. Stop acting like it makes no sense, man. Let's do one thing here. We went through a few articles here. I want to go through, here it is. I want to go through record label share, because this is just a cool one. This is a funny one. Okay, record label share. The colors in this are terrible. I apologize for the terrible colors they used. Universal Music Group is the biggest record label in the world. They have about 33% of the market. And we said that the market, we had that in another one. Let me look real quick. 15.7 billion is the entire market. So they have 37%. They have an income of 5.2 billion. That one company, 5.2 billion in that year was the revenue that they took in. Doesn't sound to me like they were suffering too badly, especially when you know that only basically 16% of it was what they consider to be A&R and no, R&D they used, R&D. You have a lot of money to float on, man. There's a lot of cash there to make everything work. I don't buy it. I don't buy your bullshit. I really, really don't. So just keep that in mind. And stop thinking that A&R guys are like a big deal or something. Because they're not. They're just like scared kids. They could get fired for like nothing. Well, not for nothing. They get fired if they believe in something, they sign it and doesn't do well, boom, you're gone. And that's why they don't sign things. They used to be allowed a few failures, not anymore, because they now have a little bit smaller margins, and they're making a ton of money by not letting things fail, by not letting people sign things that fail. They'll only sign you when you get to a point where you're already making money. That's why they're not investing in artist development. It's because people are doing it themselves because the market changed and they could get records made for cheaper. We don't need to bring back the old industry. We don't need to re-erect dinosaurs. I mean, it just doesn't make any sense, dude. Okay. All right, that's enough. That's enough. I have even more of this video and more things to show you. I just can't. If you have any questions, I'll answer that. But I think I got the point across at this point. I think everyone's on the same page that they're really just telling you bullshit. They're really just lying. But there we are. This is the industry we live in. And it's changing. And take a look. This is my prediction. I said it before. My prediction is that these streaming services will start, they'll start with like sponsoring artists because they won't want the labels to leave. And I mean, it's funny that they didn't start earlier, and you'd think, oh, well, it's doing well. They can start earlier. No, they're up to 50% of what the record labels make come from streaming. So they need to keep that going up. Once they hit like a critical point, they could take on artists, and the labels can't leave because that's where all their money comes from. Then they'll actually be losing money. If they have no streaming income, yeah, okay, I buy that you're losing money. I buy that you're not doing well and you have no money to develop artists. I'd buy it then. So they start with their like little sponsorships for these streaming companies, and they'll move into like the full-fledged record industry thing. They'll buy like a couple small labels that are doing well, take those guys, make them kind of find new artists. They use their algorithms to see what's really doing well on their site. What's picking up day after day, what's being spread around, and give those people calls. Say, hey, we like it. I'm going to set you up with a producer. I'm going to put you in a studio. We're going to make a record. We want this % of it. We're going to put you on tour. There's nothing stopping them from doing that, and that's going to be great for the industry. But no, that's enough. That's enough for this talk. It's what I could talk about this forever. It's very frustrating to me. Please like the video. Share it on Facebook. Subscribe to us on YouTube, and I'll be back with more videos soon.